Episode 9 is said to have many different twists and turns as well as surprises in this movie by writer and director J.J. Abrams and Chris Terrio. This is Mike Zero. If you guys are new to the channel, do make sure to subscribe to see future Star Wars content. Now, one mysterious aspect of the sequel trilogy has all to do with Snoke's identity, who he really is, and where he comes from. Now, these past couple of weeks or so, we've been going over a whole lot more about this film when it comes to the set leaks, the set designs, the concept art and storyboard descriptions, etc. One of which has all to do with major hints and or indicators of Snoke being Darth Plagueis at one point in time in a previous life. Now, what's really intriguing is that a description of Kylo Ren going into Snoke's abandoned First Order base on an unknown world. It's described that Kylo comes across new secrets of Snoke through some of his personal belongings. It's described that in the abandoned throne room of his base lies the authentic staff of Darth Plagueis. The next goes over a holographic display that reveals Snoke's home world, dubbed as Scipio, which was the home world of the Moon species. Additionally, it's described that Snoke held great interest in the Moon species and even studied the power of essence transfer. Additionally, it's described that a faction within the First Order refers to Snoke as the Wise in the film, and that there is a revenge element in the movie for the death of Snoke, since many don't agree with how Kylo Ren is running things. So I want to go over a couple of parts about this. Now, these past months, give or take, we've been going over Snoke's identity, different names here and there, different code names for the character of Snoke, even one of his outfits that were actually used on set for Episode 9 for a flashback with Leia, being dubbed as, of course, Senator Snoke. Now, the thing here is this, the thing that really does start to make me believe that Snoke has actually had many different lives throughout the ages, because we do know that Andy Serkis confirmed that Snoke is in or around, 800 years old, pretty much close to 1,000 years old. That's a very long time for a character like that. And the thing that really does get me is that it's described that Snoke actually once studied the power of essence transfer. The power of essence transfer, basically, you can transfer your consciousness from one body to another body. In the EU, this was done by Emperor Palpatine when he actually was dying and he transferred himself into a surviving clone, where he actually eventually fought Luke Skywalker in his younger version of his body. So what's really intriguing about all of this, though, is how Kylo Ren comes across the abandoned First Order base on an unknown world, where Kylo eventually comes across the authentic staff of course, Darth Plagueis. Now, the staff of Darth Plagueis, we haven't really seen this per se on film. It has been described before in the past, and what's really intriguing to me about all of this is that Snoke actually does have an abandoned First Order base on an unknown world. The other thing that really does strike me big time here is how Snoke has a holographic display that reveals his home world as Scipio. Now, that's actually the original home world of the Mun species. Now, I know a lot of you guys would say, well, Darth Plagueis was a Mun, that doesn't necessarily make sense. Well, in canon, alright, Darth Plagueis and his species is pretty much not official or not even named. So Darth Plagueis in canon as of right now is just Darth Plagueis. We don't know what species he really is. So that's one interesting thing for sure that could very well line directly up with Legends material. But the other thing that does really pique my interest for all of this is how a part of the First Order, a faction of the First Order, refers to Snoke as the Wise, because there's going to be a revenge element in this movie, because a handful of First Order officers and armies don't believe in Kylo Ren and the way he's handling things as Supreme Leader. So they refer to the dead version of Snoke as the Wise. So like I say, there's a lot of hints and or indicators here that Snoke was at least once Darth Plagueis at a certain point in time in his life, and actually has many different identities in the Skywalker saga, hence why we heard of different code names and or names for the character of Snoke, even himself being a senator, such as Senator Snoke from one of the outfit descriptions that we went over a couple of weeks ago. So with that being said, this is probably the best way that J.J. Abrams could really wrap up the entire Skywalker saga and make it go full circle, is by introducing that Snoke was at least once Darth Plagueis, and it seems as though that very well may be the direction that J.J. is heading into right now. I mean, like I say, everything is starting to add up. We do know that Snoke also owns the you know, the statues of the Dwarfty, which also belong to Darth Plagueis, inside of his throne room. Snoke also has that. So you can really see all the different dots that are beginning to connect here, especially the essence transfer thing. The fact that Snoke studied this, I believe, is yet another great piece that, you know, fits into the whole entire idea of him actually transferring from body to body in the actual Skywalker saga. And it also does, you know, pretty much give us the clue here as to why Snoke saw the rise and fall of the Empire and the creation of the First Order and everything like that. So with that being said, guys, what do you think about all of this below in the comments? And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.
From night to moon, we hear them moans again.